This is Thirst Trap, a beverage industry podcast. And I'm your host, Tracy Bradley. Hey guys. I know it's been a minute, but due to the nature of our episode today, which I will get into in a moment, I just needed you to know that I've been absent because I have been trying to process all of this and grieve properly. Everybody in Vegas knows of our dear friend Brian Wolfe. Brian Wolfe was a guest on this podcast a few years ago. The episode entitled Angel-Haired Hipster. He and I have been friends for many years, and sadly we lost him on May 5th from metastatic prostate cancer. So it was very quick coming. They only found out around the holidays, and it just took him. And most everyone in Vegas is gutted by this news. So instead of doing a regular podcast, I got this brilliant idea, much to producers Gonzo's delight, to go out into the wild and piece together interviews of people that knew him and wanted to come on and say something about him, share a memory or a funny story. And I think that he would have loved that. I wish that more people would have come to share their stories, but everybody's busy and we can do all that we can do, and that's it. That being said, I've had a lot of time to reflect about life and just ponder lots of things. And one thing that this has taught me, and that a lot of things have taught me, is that life is too short and that you need to live your life to the fullest. And if you knew Brian, then you knew that that's what he would want for you, because that's the way he lived his life also. Brian was so many things to me, but just he was the first friend that I ever made at the original Tenaya Creek Brewery, the one that's now Las Vegas Brewing Company, which I get to frequent and love because I represent them. But he was my first friend there. Katie was my second friend. Johnny was my third, and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to put together something that was thoughtful and meaningful, to honor this wonderful person that we are all so lucky to have had in our lives. And I can say that I'm a better person for having known him. So now we're going to get into some interviews that I did at the brewery with some people that were kind enough to stop by to say a few words just for this. And then hopefully you can have some peace. You can understand. But no one understands cancer, and I don't think anybody will. So just know that through all of this, Vegas has shown me that we are a community. We will support one another and stand up for one another and do everything that we can to help one another. And I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So now we are going to get on to our interviews. Cheers. Hey guys, we are here today at Beer Zombies / Tenaya Creek Brewery, recording our podcast as a tribute to Brian Wolfe, our dear beloved friend who passed away a month ago from prostate cancer, so fuck cancer. So our first guest that we have today to tell a good story or memory of Brian Wolfe is Tony Wyman.
Well, hello. Yes. Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me. Definitely appreciate the invite and all that jazz. Yeah. Oh, I forgot my beer. Oh, clink. Okay. Invisible clink. All right. Um, are you interviewing me technically, or do you want me to just like fire off? Tell them a story. Well, I'll go back to the first memory. I met Brian, like most of us did, at the original Tenaya Creek on Tenaya, many, 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 many years ago. I want to say about 15, give or take. At the time, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was not into the beer scene as of that point. I love me some beer, but it was just a commute to get there. Anyway, so once I fell in love with Tenaya Creek, it took me no time at all to befriend Katie and Brian. Truth be told, they're the first two I really remember from there. Everyone else is a blur except for Jeff. Anthony, a little bit. And, just I think we can all attest to the fact that he was a magnet. He was just a human magnet. You just couldn't get enough of him. And I am going to crack. My voice will crack, so just bear with me for that. Yeah, happy and sad at the same time. So as the years went on, we, just the little things we started to discover, we were the same age. We're only a couple months apart in age. We were both lefties. We both loved the Detroit Tigers. We both loved beer. And then, it's all you needed. It was a springboard into friendship. And I just this morning remembered on my phone that I have an app that you're familiar with, Yahtzee with Buddies. It's a Yahtzee game, and Brian was my number one rival. So we would just go back and forth playing her. And his name on there was Big Woolly Bee. So there's a new nickname for maybe some of you that you aren't familiar with Brian's other nickname. Oh, was it? Okay. And I'm not on Insta, so I only know the Yahtzee name. So after they moved to this location, it became so much easier for me to get here and hang out here more often. And anyone who knows me, this is my second home. So the one thing that Brian really impacted my life the most, because as you know, I wanted so bad once I got hooked, I wanted to get into the industry somehow. I hated all my past jobs, and I was just like, I know that I'm going to fit in if I can just find a way to do it. So as you might know, Brian did all the ordering for so long, like, all these beers that would come in and make the board and, make the fridge. And I would walk in some days and he'd be stuffed in the corner with, a couple people or just one other guy or a woman and cans everywhere. And they're just sampling. And inevitably when they wrapped business, Brian would haul all that stuff behind the bar and then all of it was just shared with all of us. And it got to the point where I'm like, I'm not spending enough money here. I mean, I'm trying to put my hard-earned money into want to spend it here, but you keep giving me like beer after beer after beer. But that was Brian. So the reason I'm telling this story is because I consider him my number one mentor, because he's the one who taught me the absolute most about the industry. Like, those were formative years for me. And I mean, there were so many styles I wasn't even aware of, and the nuances, and just what hop names there were. I know the basic ones. He's like, well, here's all. He just taught me so many things, and just week after week, month after month. He gave me what I needed to actually have a chance to get into this industry, which I love. So I've been doing it for 5 years now, and every day is a blessing, and I have him really to thank for it, because he just taught me so much, opened my eyes. And it wasn't just the beer itself, it was how to carry yourself back there and, just be a beacon of light and joy for people. And yeah, so for that, I owe him so much. Yeah. Oh, and I'm wearing a shirt. Katie, yeah. Katie gave me this shirt just 2 days ago, actually, on Thursday, knowing that we're basically the same size, like a little bit more of a gut than he does, but he's pure muscle. So Katie asked if I wanted any of his Tiger shirts, since we're both fans, and I said, initially I was like, I don't know, I would be really, I look at things and it's just like, there's a person. That's not a shirt, it's a person. So I kind of just had to swallow my feelings and say, yes, I would be honored to have one of Brian's shirts. So today I got it on for him. So hope I'm speaking loud enough with my cracking voice. I feel like I'm monopolizing the microphone now. In a more lighter, funnier, recent memory, just a quick story that I'll smile and laugh about for God knows how long. My better half, RJ, who some of you know, huge Wicked fan. So when Wicked came out to the theaters, I begrudgingly had to go. And Brian and Katie, Brian and Katie were invited, so we all made it like an outing together. And so we made it through the first movie, and 1 year later, here comes part two. So we had to go do it again. During part two, however, not long after it started, I heard this incredible snoring coming from my right, like about two seats over, and I'm like, it's like the speaker's messed up. I'm like, what's going on here? So I looked down, dead asleep, snoring his ass off, and I just couldn't. I got the giggles, and it just, I don't know. That's like the last truly like really funny memory I have with him, because I don't know, that just cracked me up. Yes, he got a good nap in, for good. Yes, for the better or worse, or for good. Yeah, I'll just miss him every day. Every day. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get like more emotional now, so I'm gonna hand this away. Thank you for listening.
Tony, thank you. That was great. Yes. Okay, so now we have Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your last name?
Plitsky.
Pitsky?
Plitsky.
Plitsky.
Plitsky or Plitsky? Your choice. Old world or new world?
Okay, I don't have any world. But Mike is a very old customer of Brian's. Like you guys had, you've been.
Back in old.
Okay, I will just hand this over to you, and you can talk then.
Okay. So, like Tony, I knew Brian back at the old Tenaya Creek days. So, the reason I have long history with Tenaya Creek back when it opened and stuff like that, but with Brian, the reason why I know him, one of my buddies, Arnie Harper, he's not here. He's now working at Oak Ridge, and so we used to come every Sunday between like 2 and 4, and so we always had a good talk with him. One of the things, Arnie was more closer with Brian because Arnie and Brian were both Buck fans, Buccaneers. And so they'll always be talking during like football season. But, remember like one of the great things Brian does was when, if he's writing on the board to put up the next beer or whatever, his penmanship was very good. As an engineer, old school, but before AutoCAD, engineers know how to print, or used to, but the one of the things then once we moved over here, can't remember if he did the albums, bring in his turntables and play music, and so like one of the good times we had was, I remember one Sunday he was playing the Clash Combat Rock A side, but his rule was he only played one side of an album, and then put it away and get the next album up. And so so I asked, hey, B-side's a lot better. The old classics, not all the stuff that, when they hit the charts. So he said, okay, next Sunday or whatever, I'll have it there for you. So that was great and wonderful. Other good times was myself, I'm a home brewer, and Zermergy had an article about Dutch beers with special spices. So I decided to brew one of the recipes with the spices and see if they were interested. And the only person that was interested of that style was Brian, so he's very white. But yeah, so I remember it was great to see his face even during COVID when we had to pull up and get the growlers or buy beer and get a hot dog so they could keep open. But yeah, it was just fun just talking with him and, just having him here, saying hi. It was just part of the normal life, just as much as when my wife irked at me, dropping me off on Sundays. But yeah, I will really miss Brian. He was really nice. Thank you.
Mike, thank you so much for sharing. You're welcome. Okay, so next up we have Griff, owner of Mojave Brewing Company, who has also been on the podcast before.
It's an honor to be here to talk about Brian. For me, Brian was the face of Tenaya. And walking through the door and seeing his friendly face and experiencing that smile and that joy of what was new on the board, what was available to us, and the excitement that he had when he was presenting the beer, it taught, I gotta say, it taught all of us a lot. I think anyone listening to this, anyone that experienced Brian on the job, can't deny that his excitement about beer, his excitement about the products that he was presenting, was infectious, and he taught me so much about new style. And I thought I knew a lot, and then I met Brian, and so when I and now the tears start to come, because meeting Brian, I hope that when I remember him in the future, I'll never ever forget the excitement and the happiness on his face. Every time, long day, short day, bad day, good day, that I got to experience that smile, that excitement, that fun. I mean, he was joy and happiness in beer. And let's face it, that's kind of what beer's about, and that's what Tenaya is about. And I remember that, and I'll walk through the door to Tenaya and have a beer, and I'll always remember that excitement and that happiness and joy. That's about it for me.
Honestly, I feel like that's what we're all going to remember about Brian. I mean, Brian was... Okay, so the old Tenaya Creek location never did business with Johnson Brothers, ever. And then when Carl Herrera was my manager at Johnson Brothers, when I worked for Johnson Brothers, Carl hooked it up. Like, he said, okay, it's been long enough. They don't do business with us. I'm making this happen. You're the rep. Let's go. And Brian was the first friend that I met. He's the first friend that I made at the old Tenaya Creek location. And there was just always a kind word and a smile. That's infectious smile. Like, as soon as he smiled, I swear that there was just this ray of golden light behind that man. And he was his own vibe. He was his own everything. And he was my very first friend at Tenaya Creek. So, and he was my therapist for a very long time. True story. Really is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I could elaborate, and I probably will later. But next we have Kaylee Sheffield, who has been my friend for over 20 years and is one of my daughter's best friends. And she is going to tell some stories for us today.
Hello. So like a lot of you, I'm sure, I knew Brian through skiing and snowboarding and also from Tenaya. I also happened to work at Aces and Nails right next to Tenaya, so he used to come in and gamble and drink. And from there, over the years, just being in the industry, I got to know him and got to snowboard with him. And got to party with him a few times, I think, because of skiing and snowboarding. And yeah, it's, like you guys have all said, I think there was like 2 years where I didn't even come in to any bar because I had a kid and whatnot. And I show up and it's like there was no time that passed. Like, that guy's memory for his, clientele is just like through and through. You walk in and it's like, hey, I know exactly who you are. Where have you been? How are you? And so, yeah, he made you feel really special, even if you only knew him on a surface level, because I'm sure he had a lot of people who knew him at that level because of this industry. But I do have a fun story because I stole something from Brian. And that would be his Keno numbers a very long time ago, because when he was at Aces and Nails, he would win money all the time. And I was like, how are you doing this? So honestly, for the last 7 years, I've probably been using Brian's Keno numbers. And I used them, I think, a couple days after he passed, and I hit a 7 spot. And I said, thank you, Brian. So that's kind of my fun story there. But yeah, he'll be deeply missed in this community, and I'm really sorry for everyone who was really, really close to him, and condolences on everyone's loss, because he will be missed in this community.
Yes, he will. Well, thank you for sharing, Kaylee. That's amazing, and I feel like now anybody that gambles, feel free to share the numbers. And they can use them for here on out. I don't gamble, but I mean, just send. I think you send them to me anyway. So if I ever feel like playing Keno, I'll just do that. Apparently, but yeah, okay.
And that's a wrap on our interviews for our beloved Brian Wolfe today, guys. Thank you for listening and stopping by. Cheers. I'm Tracy Bradley, and that's the Thirst Trap Podcast. Produced and edited by Gonzo Greg Spillane for Noise Department. Our theme music is composed and performed by Jose Torres. Please like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts, and share with your friends and associates in the beverage industry or anybody who drinks things. You can always visit and contact me at thirsttrappodcast.com, and you can find links to all the socials there as well. Till next time, cheers!